Right, ladies and gentlemen, right, thank you for tuning in. You are now listening to the Take It to the Bank podcast, the number one sports podcast. Go! Take it to the bank, take it to the bank, take it to the bank, take it to the bank. Matt coming with the facts, Frac coming with the facts, number one podcast. Ain't no debate about that.
And welcome back to your favorite podcast, Take It to the Bank. And once again, with me, as you can see if you were watching this on YouTube, I have my friend, NFL analyst, NFL insider, not really, but Ryan Fraccaroli is back on here. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Sick.
You're sick.
Yeah, there's something going around Towson, like my sciences and everything. Like, 6 people just got tested for mono, and they all came back positive. So, I mean, I feel like it's because of Sam Darnold getting mono.
So
Now,
you got
everybody is getting mono. So it's just been a lot. It's been a very interesting week.
And also joining us this week, we have a special guest who is a Panthers fan who we've been trying to get on here for probably almost a year, and he is finally on here. My good friend, Mark Presnell. Mark, how are you doing today?
Hey, guys, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. So let's start off with the Panthers. They're to a rough start. They're 0-2. They lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Cam Newton is hurt with a foot injury that just came out today. He obviously got hurt in the preseason game, and it's starting to flare up again. Mark, how do you feel about the Panthers season so far, and can they turn it around, especially since Drew Brees is now injured for 6 weeks?
Yeah, so the NFC South is up for grabs, in my opinion. With Drew Brees being out, I think before that it was probably a lock. The Saints were going to win. But this is even the playing field. And as far as Cam Newton goes, I'm not hoping that he has an injury, but watching him play Thursday night, it was either he had an injury or he was really bad.
Yeah.
So that does make us feel a little bit better as far as Panther fans go. He's coming off this shoulder surgery, and he just had a really bad game.
Mm-hmm. So what do you see from here? Do you think they can turn it around, or do you think it's a lost season?
No, I definitely think they can turn it around. It's still early. I don't know. I saw the stat the other day, and I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head, but something like 12% of teams that go 0-2 make the playoffs. So It's definitely an uphill battle, but it is still an early season, and this division still not out of possibility for them to come back and contend for the title in the NFC South. Mm-hmm. But like I said, it is a long road, and I think it all just depends on how bad off his foot actually is.
Yeah, I was just about to say that 0-2 teams, there has only been 12 teams in the last 100 years of the NFL to make the playoffs, which is a crazy stat. Ryan, how are you feeling about this Panthers team? I'm not very confident that they can turn it around.
So it's going to be a very interesting 6 next weeks. We're going to have very inexperienced quarterbacks playing for them. Kyle Allen will get the first call, but I wouldn't be surprised if they try to throw Will Gear in there as well. Will has. I mean, he was a high pick for them this year. I think 4th round, right?
I think it was 3rd round.
3rd round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3rd round pick out with Will Gear, and then you have a solid backup in Kyle Allen. The only thing that really scares me is that Christian McCaffrey is going to be the workhorse. That's going to be no problem, but it's the wide receiving core I'm kind of scared of. I mean, when your number one is DJ Moore, and then you have Curtis Samuel, and then Chris Hogan.
Yeah, that's not a solid lineup.
That's not, and then
it's actually Jarius Wright, but
Jarius Wright, yeah. But still, at that point, I mean, you have a very young wide receiving core right there, and then you're going to have a very young quarterback with. I mean, you're going to have one of the best running backs in the league behind you, but what is he going to do? So, if they can get through this 6 weeks, probably going, I don't know, if they can go 3-3, I mean, they could still have a chance of running it, but we don't know, and we don't know how Cam's going to do when he comes back from the injury because maybe it flares up again. We don't know. That's the only thing that's worrying me right now.
Yeah, right now for the Panthers, one thing that the front office hasn't done, and I'll get to this in a minute, is the offensive line has not been touched on. They've gone out in free agency and gotten a couple guys, but they've really hit on defensive linemen and trying to hit on defense, and obviously they hit on CMC a couple years ago. But the offensive line, it seems like Cam Newton has never gotten time, and now he's getting more injuries the older he gets. And that kind of worries me because Cam is more of a runner, and now he cannot be the running quarterback that he once was when he won the MVP because of this offensive line, and he has to get the ball out quickly or he's sacked. It's impossible for him to get out of the pocket and make something special happen. And also CMC, I was really high on CMC. I honestly put him in my top 3 MVP candidates this year because I thought he was going to get the ball a lot. But this Panthers offense is just not clicking, and the wide receiver, there's no scaring other teams with these wide receivers for maybe a play action pass, especially if Cam Newton is playing like this. Now, what do you think the Panthers do about this situation with their offensive line, Mark?
Yeah, so I'd like to go back to what he was saying about the receiving core, and I would say the one good thing that came out of Thursday night, Greg Olsen had a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's back in the picture and he's healthy, I think that definitely takes some pressure off of the rest of that receiving core. But you're absolutely right. On the offensive line, they've just never prioritized that. And in the past, Cam was always able to escape the pocket, make those rushers miss. And if you watch the game Thursday night, he was just like a statue back there. There was no movement from him whatsoever. Once the pass rush got to him, he was sacked,
Yeah.
And in the past, he's always been able to evade that. So it is something that has always plagued them. And if you go back, I mean, I've been a Panthers fan since they came into the league.
Mm-hmm.
They've always took a lot of pride in their defense. And so that's what they, even to this day, they still tend to go after those defensive pass rushers and overlook the needs of the offensive line.
Yeah.
And
the other problem I see is the defensive backs, because that has been a struggle the past ever since Josh Norman left, it seemed like.
Correct, yeah. And that's the other thing, and that's kind of the MO of the Panthers. They've always tried to build that elite pass rush, and if the pass rush isn't getting there, our defensive backs just typically aren't up to snuff with the rest of the league. And if that pass rush gets tired one down and they're not getting there, and Thursday night, I don't think they got there much at all. A lot of these better quarterbacks, they just pick us apart. So that's always been a concern. Other than the year we had Josh Norman, and it continues on to this day.
So one thing I do want to talk about is definitely not just Cam Newton's injury, but the confidence in Cam Newton. The other night, Tampa Bay, I mean, Carolina had a chance to win that game. They were down on, I would say, the 4-yard line, 4th down and 1, and they, instead of letting your 6'6", 250-pound Superman of a quarterback take the ball right up the middle like he's done his entire career, they run this Philly special reverse where instead CMC takes a snap and fakes the toss to the weak side where nobody was there to even block. It was the weirdest play call and probably the dumbest play call I've ever seen in a while, especially on a 4th and 1 for a chance to win the game. Does that for you maybe concern you with their confidence in Cam and maybe his injury or anything of that nature?
Well, they came out today. I was reading on Twitter where they said they found out after the game Cam had a foot injury.
Mm-hmm.
Something tells me that they knew at that point, because in the past that's always been Cam's going to run that, and we needed a half a yard for a first down. And to run that play, look, I don't know that I felt much better about him trying to run for that than throwing it the way he had performed throughout the game. So I'm not terribly upset at the play call. If you go back and watch it, the hole actually came open. It was just too late. And he was trying to get around the edge and just couldn't make it. Honestly, if they would have done anything, if they would have ran the reverse, I think they score. If they throw it to Cam, I think he scores.
Mm-hmm.
So they did the one thing out of that play that wasn't going to get them the first down or let them score. So, but that was telling at that point that something wasn't right for them not to give Cam the ball in that situation, because I feel very confident he's going to pick up half a yard and at least get the first down, if not score on that play. So I know a lot of people have been really adamant about the play call, and I get it, but if he scores there, we're all saying, "Oh, what a great play," and that's just something, as a former basketball coach, if you call timeout and draw out a play, and it doesn't work, you're the biggest idiot there's ever been.
Yeah.
But if it works, everything's good.
So why not call maybe a Tom Brady quarterback sneak?
That's a good question.
It seems like the NFL has gone away from that, and the Patriots keep doing it, and it keeps working. I just don't understand why every team in the league doesn't do it, especially if your quarterback's that big. Frac, how do you feel about the whole Cam Newton situation? Do you feel like the Panthers do not have trust in him and feel like maybe his career is going downhill, or do you think it was maybe just the injury at that point? Because that play to me is telling me something about the Panthers' offense that they are not trusting Cam.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it was just the point of having Cam Newton out there, and he's 6'6", 255. He's a big boy, So why wouldn't you try, even if he was a little bit injured and you didn't know that, So at that point, I would try to do something with him. But there's also been rumors about Cam Newton. This might be his last year in Carolina, So I don't know. I don't know what you want to do there. I mean, I feel like I don't know if they could get a better option because, I mean, their team's good. They have a solid team, so they're not going to be probably not a top 5 pick. So you probably won't get one of the elite quarterbacks in this draft. But I just don't know. I don't know what's happening in Carolina right now, to be honest with you.
I think that Will Greer, like you said, Carolina's not going to get a top pick. At worst, they're going to go 6 and 10. That's probably the worst that they'll go. They're not a bad football team like Miami or Arizona or those teams, but they're also not a great team. They're somewhere in the middle. I think Will Greer's their guy, and I know a lot of Panthers fans don't want to hear that, especially my roommate and Mark. I've mentioned it before, Will Greer, and he did not perform well in the preseason, but tons of quarterbacks do not perform well in the preseason. I think Frac with Carson Wentz, he didn't perform very well in the preseason. He was trying to get through his things. He showed some spark, which I saw Will Greer show a lot of spark too. Lamar Jackson didn't play well. Neither did Kyler Murray. He didn't play well this preseason either, and now he's lighting up the league a little bit. So I think Will Greer, you don't take a quarterback in the 3rd round, especially trading up to get him. I believe they traded up to get him. I think that they knew something is wrong with Cam, and they got good value out of Will Greer in the 3rd round. He was projected to be a 1st-round pick at one point. Speaking of Will Greer, do you think that the Panthers should maybe roll with him sometime at some point this year if Cam keeps having these injury problems, Mr. Mark?
I mean, it just comes down to where you stand later on in the season. If it's a lost cause, you might as well put him out there. You did pick him in the 3rd round, so why not put him out there and see what he can do? So I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I think it just depends on the extent of the injury and where you're at. If saying Cam does miss some time, where you're at when he comes back.
Yeah.
And how confident you feel that his injury is behind him at that point.
Mm-hmm. Frac, do you feel the same way? Do you think Will Greer's their guy in the future?
I think so. I think Kyle Allen is not the answer, obviously, even though he's the 2nd string. He's going to be starting this week. But I feel like Will Greer is going to be the guy that they're going to trust on because he has a strong arm. He has some legs on him. He can run a little bit. I mean, Will Greer is just a little bit just like Cam Newton, maybe not the same size, But, I mean, Cam is kind of a freak of nature, 6'6", 255, and still has an arm. So it's just a matter of fact of when they want to trust Will Greer and when Will Greer will be ready for like an NFL caliber defense. Because that was one thing. It was that he was just taking too much. He was taking too much time on his reads. He wasn't like really ready. He wasn't ready because West Virginia runs a college offense.
Yeah,
no matter
100%.
what. Yeah.
So from here, Mark, do you think that the Panthers, where do you see them finishing in your opinion if, let's say Cam only misses one game, let's say the Panthers come back and win this game with either Cam or Kyle Allen as their starter, and then Cam's there the rest of the year. Where do you see this team finishing? Can they be a playoff team?
I would like to say yes, but I don't think so right now. You know, we all are pretty down on the Panthers right now, but if things go differently on that fourth down Thursday night, there's a win. DJ Moore's fumble in the first game, the missed field goal, and the backwards pass that the Rams recovered and then scored a couple plays later. You take those few plays out, and I know that's the story with most football games, but you take a few plays out here and there, they're 2-0, and everybody's happy. So, you know, I think 6 wins. I told Noah the other night we'd go 4-12. With the injury coming out, if he can get a couple games off, get healed up, you know, I think they could definitely go 7-9, 8-8, somewhere in that range. But they do have a tough schedule, so they would have to be able to win some of these games like they've lost in the first 2 games. Some of these tight games they would have to win down the stretch to be able to finish that well, I believe, just being realistic.
Yeah. I've said that before. I said good football teams win close games, and Frac can vouch that for himself because when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they were winning really close games that they probably should have lost. And that's the difference between a great team and a not so great team every single year. So if they get a high pick, Mark, what do you want to see the Panthers do? Do they go after a quarterback? Do they go after a defensive back, offensive line? What do you want to see them do?
I think it's definitely got to be offensive line. You know, they spent a couple picks after they traded Josh Norman on cornerbacks. The safety position is one that they're always lacking. And, you know, they went heavy on defense this year. They drafted Burns. So, you know, if McCaffrey's able to stay healthy and not get banged up, I think it just depends on their usage. But, you know, a 2-back to him would be somebody they could get in a later round. So I think they definitely got to work on their offensive line, as we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that is their biggest problem for the past couple of years. And I sit and watch the Panthers every week with Noah, and it's just very irritating to watch that Cam has no time in the pocket, and then everybody blames Cam. Even though he looked bad the other night, the past couple of years, when he looks bad, it's not because of his throwing. It's been because of his issues with the offensive line. Really quick, let's wrap up this Panthers talk. And from each of you, starting with Mark, who wins the NFC South?
Man, that's a toss-up at this point, but Drew Brees is supposed to miss 6 games. Who knows how well Teddy Bridgewater will do in that time. The Falcons were able to beat Philly Monday night. You know, they look good at times, but they're always one of those teams that seems to underachieve, except for the year they went to the Super Bowl. So I think one of those 2 teams is who it's going to be. I think New Orleans has enough weapons to win a lot of games without Drew Brees. I think they'll lose some that they probably would win with him for sure. But I would still probably go ahead and give them the nod just because they have Alvin Kamara in the running game. You know, he's being spelled with Latavius Murray. All the weapons on offense. I just feel like Sean Payton's a good coach, and they'll find a way to win without Drew Brees, and they'll probably still win the division. And that pains me to say that.
Yeah, I guarantee it. Frac, who do you have?
I agree with Mark. It's going to be the Saints. I mean, here's the thing. I feel like a lot of people are looking at that Atlanta game. Oh, yeah, they beat the Eagles. But you also need to think about how many injuries happened in that game for the Eagles. We had over 7 players called out during the game. That's a lot of players, a lot of starters that were out of the game. So, I mean, I feel like it would have been kind of a different game if the Eagles were at full strength, but they did pick up the win. But I feel like Atlanta still did not play well. I mean, Matt Ryan had 3 interceptions. With our secondary, I'm very surprised you can do that.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's the Saints to lose still. I really think so. I don't know if it's as much as a toss up as people think it is. I think the Saints still has pretty good a hold on the division.
Yeah. I'm going to disagree with both of you. I did pick Atlanta, and I'm going to stick with it, even though I probably don't think it's going to happen now, but I can't turn around. I think Atlanta's going to the Super Bowl. I said that from the start, and I'm going to roll with it. I think Atlanta has too much talent on offense, and they have a lot of talent on defense. If they stay healthy, they're in my opinion, maybe the most talented team in the NFC South, better than the Saints. And that's saying a lot, but that's only if they stay healthy. I think Matt Ryan is a top 5 quarterback in this league. He didn't play well the other night. That was kind of rough, but I think he's going to turn it around. Julio Jones is a top 2 wide receiver in this league, and I think they've got too much going for him. But we want to thank Mark for being on Take It to the Bank podcast today. Thank you for giving us your insight on the Panthers, and we pray that you get through the season and hopefully good times coming around the corner.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for not asking me about my most embarrassing moment.
Oh yeah. Oh, should we do that?
Too late now.
All right. We'll see you later, Mark.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. That was awesome. So a good segment about the Panthers right there. And one thing I do want to start off with you, Frac. I made a ton of money this week.
Care.
I know, but my bet. I know, but I'm telling our fans, our bet insider. Okay, our bet insider is very good. He won. I think he's up to $1,000 in the past maybe month. Maybe even more than that, but he has been very good. This past week, my wins were I took the Rams and my bet insider. I was 4-0. We kind of combined our picks. I took the Rams spread. I took the Browns spread. I did put a lot of money on the Browns spread. I thought that the Jets obviously didn't have enough weapons. And for some reason, it stayed at -6.5. I took the Bills spread. That was huge. And then shout out to Colin Coward. He gave me that pick. And then I also hit on the Arizona. I thought that they were going to cover this week against the Baltimore Ravens. And Frac, let's get it started, man. Let's start off with your Eagles. I thought that was a great game on Sunday night. I fell asleep halfway through. I saw that you FaceTimed me twice. When I saw your FaceTime, I thought something crazy happened that you guys won because Atlanta was dominating most of the game. And one thing I do want to say, Ronald Darby is he's burnt toast. Yeah, he got targeted 8 or 12 times for 8 catches, 150 and 2 touchdowns. So, how do you feel about your Eagles this week, dog?
Injuries.
Injuries? So, yeah, they did lose Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson in the first series.
And Corey Clement and Timmy Jerrigan and Dallas Goedert. I mean, you can't win ball games without having your top 2 receivers. And Wentz got hurt for a little bit. Josh McCown played a little bit, and Nelson Aguilar. So both of them were 100%. I mean, that was just a tough game. I mean, if Aguilar caught that ball, that would have been a game we would have won. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it was a good game. I mean, the Eagles. I think the fans should be like, oh, it's okay. Like, we understand a ton of injuries happened, and we were still in that game. I think that's I think that's the crazy part. We were still in that game with our 4th and 5th or 3rd and a 4th and a 5th receiver out there. One's a rookie, one just came back over a groin injury, and Nelson Aguilar. So, I mean, you can't really get – I mean, if one of them got hurt, we would have no more wide receivers because we only have 5 on the roster. So, I mean, it was very impressive how we stayed into the game, and I'm not upset. I'm not upset about the loss at all.
Yeah, I don't think you should be upset about the loss. I think Philly's going to be okay. I did pick on Griffin, which is a Philly fan here, a lot this past couple of days about Philly. But like you said, too many injuries. But the injury bug hits early. That could potentially hurt the season. Are you potentially worried about that? Because it seems like the Eagles the past couple of years, even though they've been well, they always get hit with the injury bug.
Yep, and I remember 2017. We lost Jordan Hicks.
Mike Wallace, Darren Sproles.
Your left tackle?
Yeah, we lost Peters.
Yep.
We lost Jason Peters. We lost a lot of players in the first 3 weeks as well, and we still won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not too nervous about that at all. I think it's more a matter of fact of how we overcome the injuries, and hopefully some of these young players step up. Hopefully Whiteside steps up. Mac Hollins looked actually really solid. And last Sunday night, he looked really, really good. Nelson Aguilar. Oh, Nelson. Why? Did
Yeah, Nelson
I mean,
Aguilar.
and he looked good too.
He had a great game. Yeah,
he did have a great game.
Had to drop the biggest ball of the game.
Yeah, and I feel like I feel like that says something about the Lions defense. Even though they were getting to Carson, Carson was still making plays, and I feel like that kind of exposed the Falcons defense a little bit. Just saying maybe they're not as good as everybody thinks they are. Because we kind of carved them up with a fourth and our fifth wide receiver. So,
one more thing I want to talk about with the Eagles: Carson Wentz is, the injury problems, man. Like I understand that he came back into the game, but to see him get hit in the ribs and how much did you cry when that happened? Were you almost breaking down? Were you almost oh my God, it's happening again? Here we go.
Yes, I was so nervous. I'm like, oh my God.
But on a serious note, do you think are you worried about that happening throughout the season where he gets these little injuries that could nag?
I mean, a little bit, but to the point, Josh McCown looked really, really good in that series when he got put in. He really did. I mean, he got us into the red zone. So
red zone.
But
Shout out Josh McCown.
But Carson Wentz they put Carson Wentz back in the series. Mm-hmm. I was kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, why are you gonna put Carson back in? Let McCown finish the series at least. He was rolling. So I mean, I am a little bit nervous because just with the injury problems, but I think Wentz I think he's healthier now, and I think he's fine. I think the only thing that's going to worry us is that we're going to have a short week. We're going to have Sunday, then we play Thursday against the Packers. So and we're going to be without Deshaun Jackson and Alshon for both of those games. So it's going to be rough. But
could be a rough road ahead for the Eagles. But one team in the NFC East. Yeah, sorry. I couldn't think about that for a second. I was having a brain fart. But the Dallas Cowboys look good. I know that they haven't played two great teams. They played two division rivals, though. They're 2-0 and 2-0 in the division, which is huge for a team to start off. And Dak Prescott, he looks worth his money, whether you think so or not. I think that they need to go out on a limb, and maybe he is worth $40 million. Now, let me explain why I might think he might be worth that. We're looking at these quarterbacks who are getting hurt. You see Big Ben getting hurt. You see Drew Brees getting hurt. You see Sam Darnold getting mono. You see Cam Newton hurt. Andrew Luck retired. This guy hasn't missed a game yet. He's won 2 division titles. He's won a playoff game. He's constantly there, and now he's putting up, even though it's been 2 games, so just reminder of that, he's putting up MVP numbers. Dude, are you nervous that the Cowboys are going to win this division? Because I honestly think they might already have it locked up.
How do they have it locked up? They played against Washington and New York. We beat Washington too, but that's the thing. I think it really matters about who wins this head-to-head. Because I feel like we can sweep Washington, we can sweep New York. Mm-hmm. So I think the big one is if we can at least split the series with the Cowboys. If we can do that, I feel like the Cowboys are going to hit some blocks. That defense has a ton of injury problems. Not right now, obviously, but they have a lot of players with injuries, concerns. They have, nagging injuries. Mm-hmm. That could happen. That could come up. So I don't really know if this is the if anybody can say, oh, they're going to mark it. It's early in the season, mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter how we do with what we have,
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me retract. I don't think they have it locked up. I personally think that they're going to win the division. Let me set that straight. And the reason for that is that they're healthy. Their offensive personnel is insane. I think that the Eagles' personnel is very good as well, but I feel like their running game is better than the Eagles is, and I feel like they have a more stable backfield with Zeke. And I feel like Dak Prescott is going to come out and prove that he wants his money. Now, if he does well after that, no clue. But I feel like this year is the year that he proves that he deserves some money. And I'm looking at the schedules, and it looks like the Cowboys have the kind of easier schedule starting off because they started off with the Giants, the Redskins, the Dolphins, and then they kind of get more difficult. Saints, Packers, but then they have the Jets. They also play New York again, obviously. They play the Lions. And the Redskins again. You might be right. It might come down to those two games and who settles it. If the Eagles sweep, I could see them winning that division. But
we will win the division. We'll be undefeated in the division.
Yeah.
If everything went how I said it goes, we would definitely win the division then if we sweep the Cowboys.
Yeah. So you're still with the Eagles winning the NFC East.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am. Even with the injury concerns, I feel like we will come back. I mean, Deshaun Jackson's injury isn't that serious. I'm kind of worried. I'm kind of worried more about Jeffries with the calf because that was the problem that he had at training camp. So, hopefully he can come back better. Hopefully him being like with this short week, it's going to suck, but that's going to give him more time to heal up for week 5.
Yeah.
So,
so last question. You kind of didn't answer. I kind of answered it, and I didn't really ask you. But Dak Prescott, no bias, no Eagles bias, man.
yeah.
Do you think he's worth at least $35 million?
No.
You don't think he's worth as much as Carson Wentz?
I think the thing with Dak is he's having 2 good games. And let's say about players that start off good. He also started off good last year. He started off with amazing numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. True. But Dak Prescott has won 9 of his last 10 games.
Yeah, but this is still an early call, in my opinion. It's still an early call. I think no quarterback is worth. Unless if your name is a young Brady, basically.
So you don't think that Carson Wentz was worth all that money?
I thought Carson Wentz got a little bit overpaid. I will say that. I feel like Goff got overpaid.
Well, every quarterback is overpaid. I think we can agree with that.
I feel like Goff and Wentz will be better quarterbacks in the future than Dak will. Yeah.
Sure, we're looking at potential, but that's the thing, man. They're getting paid off potential. Dak is doing it right now.
But Dak is also getting paid off of potential. He was part of the same draft class.
I don't think he's getting paid off potential. He has proven his potential. He's winning games. He's good enough to win a Super Bowl.
And Carson Wentz has proven his too. He had an MVP caliber season before he tore his ACL.
Has he? Because he's been hurt.
He has, but exactly.
He's had one half season.
No, and then he looked good. And then even though the record doesn't show it, he had a very good season as well. And last year before he got pulled off. So I feel like we can see that from him. And Goff obviously is really good. He took his team to the Super Bowl last year. So, and Dak didn't make it past the divisional round.
Yeah.
So, I feel like Dak isn't worth $40 million. I feel like not. I don't know if any quarterback is worth $40 million.
Yeah. I totally agree with you there. We do agree there, but I just feel like that Dak Prescott has done enough to get the same amount as his same draft class has gotten. That's basically what I'm trying to point. But no quarterback.
If they want to pay him that, I think he should get paid at least 32.
I think 32 is a good number, but he's not. He's going to get paid more than Wentz. It's just the way that the market goes. He has the stats to back it up. He's healthy. It's just the way that the agent will go at Jerry Jones. But we got to move on from that. I do want to talk about, once again, Lamar Jackson did something that a player has never done in NFL history, taking away Colin Kaepernick's game in the playoffs, even though that is a playoff game. So in the regular season, Lamar Jackson threw for 250 yards and also ran for over 120. That has never happened in 100 years of the NFL in the regular season. They play the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead this weekend. How confident are you that Lamar Jackson can maybe go in there? He almost did it last year. Do you think he can go in there and win this game this weekend?
I think he can. I feel like Lamar's on a good hot streak right now, even though they played against probably the two worst teams in the league, in Miami and Arizona.
Agreed.
But I feel like Kansas City's defense is not strong this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it feels like they're getting points put on them, even though they have one of the best offenses in the whole league. I feel like Lamar is going to have a very good game. I think it's just a matter of fact of how the running game does basically. Cause I feel like the Kansas City secondary is it's okay, but it's not the strongest either. So it's just a matter of how the run game goes.
So obviously the Ravens are missing Jimmy Smith and Tavon Young. They got torched last week by Kyler Murray, who torched the Lions the week before. Are you nervous about Pat Mahomes even taking it further without those two in the game?
Oh, it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a high-scoring game. That's just a matter of fact of it. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the whole league, and he has good weapons around him. Yeah. And he's going to get his points. He's going to get – that's the thing. It's just a matter of how good Lamar does.
Yeah, I totally agree. Who wins the game?
I'll try to say Kansas City 42-35.
Yeah, I'm taking Kansas City too.
It's going to be a high-scoring game, and I feel like it's going to be whoever makes the first mistake on offense, and I feel like that's going to be more Lamar Jackson. I feel like Lamar Jackson might make a fumble or something. So,
okay, speaking of bad DBs and teams needing defensive backs, we saw one DB go for a first-round pick in Minkah Fitzpatrick. He went to Steelers, which was kind of let's talk about that for a second. That was really weird. The Steelers lost Big Ben for the season. We're going to get into that pretty soon, probably after this. And they trade a first-round pick for a slot corner / safety. He does both. He says he's more comfortable in the slot. Do you think that Pittsburgh is all in on Mason Rudolph this year because of this?
No, I think not at all. I mean, I feel like they're just trying to get their defense stronger, and they're trying to become a younger team. Really, I feel like they realize that Big Ben might be done, but Big Ben is going. He says he's going to honor his contract, so he's going to be here for the next 2 more years.
Yeah.
So I think, as a matter of fact, I think they just want to have a very strong defense when Big Ben comes back. I feel like they said, "Well, we're done this year." Like anybody, like Gigi, you want to play quarterback? We got Mason. Mason, easy. Okay, yeah. So I feel like they're just like, you know what, screw it. We're going to build for next year.
Yeah. I can't see it as that way too, but Mason Rudolph looked good the other day. I'm not going to lie.
He did.
I think really he might be something pretty decent. I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback in this league, but for the rest of this year, I think he can hold up. I think that they're maybe a 6 to 7 win team. I think they'll finish third, at worst fourth in the division. There's not going higher than second and first, with the Browns and Ravens, obviously. And another DB who is asking to be traded is Jalen Ramsey. Some landing spots I've heard is the Chiefs, the Eagles, potentially even the Cowboys. The Ravens have been named, but they probably won't go after him. Who do you see? And I guarantee I know who you want him to go to.
Yeah.
Let's say he does go to the Eagles. Is he worth 2 first-round picks?
Yes.
And
yes.
would you be okay with that?
Yes. Because here's what I think. You will not get – they said these next 2 draft classes are not going to be defensively strong at all. It's going to be very heavy on offense. So I feel like there's not going to be a secondary player that will be as good as Jalen Ramsey in the next 2 drafts. Screw it. That's fine. Get Jalen Ramsey. Give him his money. Because here's the thing. If the Cowboys can pull off signing all these players and sign Dak –
yeah.
What are you doing?
Grabbing a piece of gum. I'm listening. I'm listening.
I feel like if the Cowboys can do that, the Eagles can do the same thing. I feel like we can do something that we can have Ramsey on the team. And Oh my God.
I'm listening.
You crackhead. Anyway, yeah, I feel like I would love us to go after Ramsey. Host said we're going to look into it, so I feel like we can pull something off. But knowing Hallie, I feel like we won't have to give up 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, but but you don't think the Chiefs are going to offer 2 first-round picks? I do, because they need, if they want to win the Super Bowl, they need Jalen Ramsey. So you can say Howie is a wizard, but there is no chance that if they're offered 2 first-round picks that they're going to take anything less than that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just a matter how good the other offers are.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you also can't say anything about this. Mahomes is going to be up for extension sooner than later. You know, he is worth $40 million. My bad. Mahomes is worth $40 million.
Yeah, he is.
That's
100%. He's worth $100 million a year.
He's like one of the only quarterbacks that is worth that. But I feel like I feel like they didn't realize, like, well, you know, we have to kind of build our team for the draft. And I feel like the Eagles are thinking the same exact way. Like, we need to get inexpensive players that we can, have. So I see the Eagles not doing it as well as the Chiefs. But I feel like if they're offered less than a first, like if they're offered in less than two first round picks, I think they're fine.
Okay. The problem is I don't know if the Eagles can afford an extension to Jalen Ramsey. He wants a ton of money, but Howie Roseman has done great things, so I wouldn't doubt that it could happen. My landing spot is the Chiefs. I think they give up the whole house. 2 first-round picks. They won't win a Super Bowl now before they have to extend Mahomes. So even if it's just probably not rental, but if they have Jalen Ramsey and Pat Mahomes for the next, 4 to 8 years, that's fine. And they'll be happy with that, especially if they get a Super Bowl ring. One more topic before we get into our picks this week. Colin Kaepernick. I kind of wanted to bring him up, man. Is he getting a job in the NFL? Because all these quarterbacks are hurt, and honestly, he is better than most of these backup quarterbacks.
He still won't get a job. Sad thing to say. Kaepernick has all the talent in the world, but there's no one talking about Kaepernick. None of the insiders are talking about Kaepernick. Mm-hmm. Kaepernick is kind of dying off now. I feel like there's not a lot of people talking about Kaepernick anymore. Mm-hmm. Last year they were, because Kaepernick was talking a lot. Kaepernick hasn't talked much at all this year. So I feel like the interest, I feel like Kaepernick would probably not play a game in the NFL again.
Yeah. Even if you agree or disagree with Colin Kaepernick's beliefs, let's be serious here. If you don't think he can play a backup role in the NFL, did you see Luke Falk play the other night? Like, come on, man. Like, this guy is better than half the backups in the league, and he needs a job. He deserves a job. And honestly, like, you can say he can be a media distraction. Who's another guy, Frac, that has been in the headlines for the past 2 months? Antonio Brown. And he has a job with one of the best team in the NFL, the best quarterback ever, and the best head coach ever.
He makes it far in his doctor's face.
Yeah. Oh my God. Let's talk about that for a second. That was the funniest. Okay, so just for clarification, Antonio Brown, there was a story that came out yesterday. It said Antonio Brown's doctor thought was getting farted on by Antonio Brown while they were doing checkups or whatever it was, and that he thought was childish and ignorant. And the video came out yesterday, and I'm going to retweet it on our Take It to the Bank social media account. But that was probably the funniest video. I cried. Like, I genuinely cried. Like, this dude is nuts.
Yeah, he's on crack. I can't believe he hasn't been drug tested. Like, come on.
Oh God, dude, that definitely. You saw the video, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, it was so funny. So let's get into our picks. Okay. So the first game is Thursday night, which we're recording this on Tuesday. It'll be Wednesday when it come out. So tomorrow night, Titans, Jaguars. The Thursday night football sucks, by the way. Fix it, NFL. Stop putting like Jaguars and Titans on Thursday Night Football. We deserve better than that. And last night we deserve better than the Browns and Jets. Titans, Jaguars. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
10's the only I see.
What?
10 is the only thing I see.
Oh, me? You talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Ray Lewis.
Oh, he was on Dancing with the Stars last night. Did you see that?
He was dancing, bro.
He was on fire.
He was like, it's so hot in here.
When you hit that.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Yeah.
That was tough. Yeah. I'm going with Tennessee. I think they have a really good defense this year, and they have a 10 times better offense. Obviously, Nick Foles isn't playing. Overall, Tennessee's a good team. I could see them potentially making the playoffs this year and winning that division. I'm going Tennessee. Dolphins, Cowboys. Any upset?
Cowboys. No, Cowboys. I mean,
now the question is, do the Cowboys beat the spread? It's 21.5.
Jeez.
It's
oh my God. It's 21.
It was 19.5 last week for New England. It keeps going up.
Yeah, I guess. I think they covered that spread. I mean, I feel like they want to put up more than 21 points.
Wait, do you think the Cowboys will win by more than 21 points?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying take the spread?
I think take the spread. That's a big spread, but take it.
Okay, so I'm taking the Cowboys, and I am not touching that spread because some crazy they'll get 2 garbage touchdowns when they're up by 40, and they'll win by 19. Don't take the freaking spread. Bengals, Bills. This one should be interesting. This one is at the Bills. Should be a good game.
I'll take Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Buffalo's been good this year.
They have. I mean, they've been winning tight games, which is awesome to see. Josh Allen's looking really good. I think the Bills are going to beat Cincy. I mean, I think Cincy's defense isn't strong enough to be ready for Josh Allen's strong arm.
Shout out to Andy Dalton. He has had 2 great past 2 weeks, and he is proving that he should be this franchise quarterback still for the Bengals. I give it to him. I'm taking the Bills here. They're at home. There's something different when the Bills play at home in front of their great fan base. And Josh Allen, man, I give it to Josh Allen. He has really become better. I was skeptical after week 1 after his little fallout with the turnovers, but he turned it around the week after. And the Bills might be a 10-win team this year. Look out for them. Look at their schedule. It's not that hard. Lions, Eagles. That's your team.
Wow,
you have to think about this one.
Yeah, kind of, just a little bit.
It's at the Eagles.
And Detroit did beat Los Angeles last week. So I feel like the Eagles can still win that game.
Yeah.
I think so. I think the Eagles probably going to win that game. I feel like Detroit secondary, I mean, they do have Slay still, who's going to be over top of Aguilar.
Underrated cornerback, the most underrated in the league.
Yeah, Slay. Yeah. He's solid. He's always been solid.
Yeah.
And I feel like Slay's going to be over top of Aguilar, so it's going to be a big game for Whiteside. I feel like Whiteside's going to have a solid game this week. I know people go to Mac Hollins might break out. No, it's going to be Whiteside. Whiteside's the big target that we got from Stanford. I feel like he can do something. I feel like he can do something in this game.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles too. I think they're just more talented, and there's no way Ronald Darby gets burned again that bad. So yeah, I think the Eagles are just a better team, and they need to win. It's a must win. Jets, Patriots. Yeah. This one should be easy. There's no Sam Darnold.
Patriots.
Yeah,
Patriots.
I don't think we need to explain this one.
What's the spread for that game? What's the spread for that one?
I think it's 14, but I'd have to check again. It's pretty high. Falcons, Colts. This one's interesting. The Colts won last week, and the Falcons won last week. This one is at the Colts.
At the Colts. I think I'm going to say the Colts because think about this. I mean, yeah, Brissett's not the best quarterback. We all know that. But
Yeah.
the Colts defense is, they're good.
They're legit.
They are a legit defense. And if we can get 3 interceptions off of Matt Ryan, the Eagles secondary can, I know Indy's can.
Mhm.
So I feel like it's going to be a defensive heavy game, and I feel like it's going to be a close game, but I feel like Indy's defense is going to win the game.
Yeah, I'm actually taking the Falcons. I feel like they're going to win this division, and I feel like Jacoby Brissett is going to make more mistakes than Matt Ryan is. I feel like both defenses are good enough to win, so I'm taking the Falcons at the Indianapolis Colts. Raiders, Vikings, we need to go a little bit faster here.
Vikings.
Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings too. This one is at the Vikings as well. So, yeah, they're at home. They're a better team at home. Kirk Cousins was not worth the money, by the way. Let's just make that clear. He is a bum, like a complete bum. We already said this, but let's just go over it one more time just so we can double check. Ravens, Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs. Now, I'm going to ask you, you don't bet, but it's -6.5 for the Chiefs. So they have to win by 7 or more points to beat it. Do you think that the Ravens maybe win that spread?
Yeah, they're going to win that spread.
It's going to be really close.
Yes, it's going to be a shootout, but it's going to be a close game.
Mm-hmm. So take the over, which I don't know what the over is. I'll look it up in a minute.
Yeah.
And, I think the Chiefs win. I think the Ravens do cover. Broncos, Packers. This one is at the Packers.
Packers.
Man, my man Joe Flacco going to go 0-3. Did you watch that game last week, the Bears and Broncos? He threw a game-winning touchdown, a game-winning 2-point conversion. Like, come on. It's always something with that man. Like, nobody can ever help the guy. He played like crap, though. I'm not going to lie. Against good Bears defense. I'm taking the Packers. We talked about the Panthers a lot today. Do they, even if they don't have Cam Newton, do you think the Panthers beat Arizona? It's in Arizona.
Yeah.
So you're taking the Panthers? Even if they don't have Cam?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm taking the Cardinals. I think Kyler Murray is good enough to beat that defense. I don't think their secondary is very good. And the Panthers are going to start 0-3 for me. I don't think that Cam Newton's going to play this weekend. Giants, Buccaneers. Do the Giants get their first win of the year? Daniel Jones. Oh, my God. We didn't talk about Daniel Jones. We forgot about Daniel Jones.
Whatever.
He's starting this week. Really quick,
cool.
really quick. Is Eli retiring after this year?
No. I think
Where's he going to go?
He's going to go somewhere.
I think he's done.
He could be done, but I could also see him playing one more year with a different team and then, wrapping it up.
Yeah. I'm glad Daniel Jones is starting. I think he gets the Giants' first win. I'm taking the Giants this weekend.
Okay.
And I think they win by 10 or more points.
Okay, yeah. No,
okay, that's a lie. I don't actually think that. I think they win like game-winning field goal. I think Daniel Jones has a decent game. I don't think he's going to light it up like preseason. But Daniel Jones gets the Giants' first win and his first of his career, and he is next best quarterback in the NFC East.
Okay, it's going to be the Buccaneers. No question. I should have.
No more questions.
I should have picked Buccaneers against the Panthers, and you talked me out of it. Should have kept with the Buccaneers.
Hey, I give it to you. You did put it in. I laughed at you. Hey.
Yep.
Shouts out to Frac. Good pick. I'll give you that pick because you really were on them, and then I kind of laughed, and then you were like, well, maybe I should Panthers. Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that. Saints, Seahawks. This one is interesting. Teddy Bridgewater is the starting quarterback, and it's in Seattle. Seattle's a different team at home.
I think it's going to be Seattle.
Mm-hmm. You start out 3-0.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that they're at home. Their defense is better, and their offense is better because no Drew Brees. So I think Seattle wins pretty comfortably. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is good enough to keep up with Russell Wilson. Texans, Chargers. This one is going to be a great game. It is at 4:25. It is at the Chargers.
I think it's going to be Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically, if you play the Chargers, it's a home game.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's Houston.
Yeah.
I think Houston's going to win.
This one's tough for me. I'm taking the Chargers. I feel like because their D line is so good, especially with Joey Bosa, and the Texans' offensive line is bad. I feel like they're going to get to Watson a lot, and it's going to frustrate him. And I feel like that
But
it's
I
a
mean,
must win for the Chargers, or else they go 1-2 in the AFC.
they do have Laramie Tunsil now, so
Oh, ooh,
yeah.
yeah. He's good. Don't get me wrong, but the whole offensive line is dog shit, to say the least.
Mhm.
So I'm going with the Chargers. Mason Rudolph's first NFL start against a good 49ers defense who has 4 interceptions. They had 2 all of last year. It looks like the 49ers are ready to rock this year and maybe make the playoffs. Who wins this game? This is
I
at
know.
the San Francisco 49ers.
See, when dramatic changes happen, a dramatic heart of change happens as well. I said that the Steelers are going to. I said the 49ers are going to lose the next 4 games out of the first 2. I think I need to check the last podcast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said something along those lines. Yes.
Yeah. So when dramatic things happen, like Big Ben gets hurt, you're going to see a different effect. And I feel like the 49ers are going to win this game, and they're going to start 3-0.
Do they make the playoffs, Frac?
No.
No, you can't admit it.
I'm not going to admit it. They're not. I mean, I feel like Seattle has a stronger team this year than I expected.
So if they don't, I say if they do, I say we get Max to get on here and tell us he was right. I think that's only right. And I think
they get Max on here. If they don't make it, then I could tell him how wrong he was.
Okay, fair. I'll talk to Max and we'll make a little bet out of it.
Okay.
2 more games. Sunday night football. It is the Rams, Browns. The Browns have looked like crap the past 2 weeks.
Why are the Browns on every freaking primetime game?
It's stupid. They're not that good.
It's going to be a blowout by the Rams. They're going to score 40. I don't know what else you want me to say. God is shining down on me right now.
Can I quote that? Like Rams are putting up 40. Like God's telling you right now.
God's telling me, he's like, Cooper Kupp's going to get 200. What?
Wow.
I'm like, wow, God.
You know what? Let's bring back the bold predictions. Bold prediction.
Cooper Kupp's getting 200 receiving yards.
Cooper Kupp, 200 receiving yards. Yeah, and the Rams score 40.
Yep.
Do the Browns make the playoffs?
No. I told you they weren't going to at the beginning of the year.
Give me some, baby. Hey, you heard? Hey, that's it.
I told you. I told you this for a while. I told you this team is not going to be as good as people thought it was going to be. I told you all this. But no one wants to listen to Ryan.
Listen. I'm also taking the Rams. I think they win by 10+. I kind of agree with you. The Rams are just a way better team. The offensive line for the Browns is complete. They suck, to say the least. Baker Mayfield he's a great thrower. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Stop looking into it as he's a bust. He doesn't have time to release the ball, and it's causing him to throw inaccurate passes. OBJ is not going against scrubs this week. He is going against Aqib Talib. So that's a big matchup. Marcus Peters, Eric Weddle, I say Rams by 10. All right. Let me get my bold prediction before this stupid Monday night game because it's awful.
Heartburn.
Okay. I'm going to say that Daniel Jones.
Oh my God!
Are you having a heart attack? All right, we got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. You gotta make it.
Acid reflex.
All right. Daniel Jones throws for over 250 yards.
Okay, Jesus Christ! What in the world?
I'm a Daniel Jones fan now. All right.
Yes, you are.
Bears, Redskins, really quick. We got about a minute and a half.
Bears.
That easy? Just Bears?
Yeah, baby. Blueface, baby.
The Bears, baby. The Bears. I'm going with the Bears. The Redskins are going to win a couple of games this year, but this one is not one of them. And the Bears have to keep pace with Green Bay and Minnesota. And that is all we have for you today from Take It to the Bank. Great episode. Ryan.
Is
Fun.
it?
Thank you. It's
I'm
always a great
dying.
episode as
I'm
long as you're
dying. I need help. Help me.
okay.
Help me. I need
That is
blood
it. Thank you
transplant.
to Mark for joining us this week and giving us great Panthers insight. Even though it's a bad year for him. Prayers out to Panthers fans. And Frac, thank you once again, buddy. I love doing this with you. And follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We got it all. Take it, bank it. And we have a new logo coming out this week. I'm going to send you a preview of it right now. Actually, let's do it live so I can see a reaction. We have about a minute left. Let me give you this reaction real quick.
Okay.
Here it is. Let me copy. This is just a preview though. It's not completely done, but Matt Kolecki, our boy, MK Edits, who is me and his small business that we created. We do Photoshop, we do Adobe Premiere, we do a whole bunch of video edits and a whole bunch of stuff. Frac, did you see it?
Dang.
Yeah, it's tough.
That looks fresh.
Yeah, and he's going to make it so we can put it on T-shirts.
Okay, but why is the certain thing on top of it? Why is it that?
My last name.
Yeah, but that's stupid. Where's something for me?
Well, he's going to incorporate something for you. He told me that. He's going to add something for you, so kind of makes sense.
He better.
Well, he is. He loves you.
He better love me.
All right, that's all we have for you. See you guys later, and bless up, right, Frac?
Bless up, baby.
Some stats for that boy, don't get foul cause we ain't playing hack and shack. You said you wanna hear some sports talk. Well, if that's really what you wanna do, then you at the right place. Stick around, get comfortable, and don't you tell me that you ain't. Cause it's take it to the bank, all facts, cause that's what it has to be, no caps like the MLB salary.